Welcome to the Otters Cast, a podcast where we take you behind the scenes and getting to know the Evansville Otters. I'm your host, David Nguyen. Everyone in life has faced some sort of adversity at least once or twice. What if you had the chance to make your dreams a reality, yet time and time again, mistakes were made that forced you off course in order to reach your goal? Yet through some way or somehow, second chances seem to fall in your lap at the right place at the right time. That is the path I went on with Keith Grieshaber, the Otters' versatile utility player. Hear about his life growing up in St. Louis, his stellar soccer career, overcoming a life-changing incident that allowed him to overcome his obstacles, and much more. Before we get to Keith Grieshaber, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button to get alerts on each podcast, as well as other video content about the Otters to give you the best information about the team at all times. Make sure to follow the Otters on social media through Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And now, my sit-down with Keith Grieshaber. All right, Dave Nguyen here with Otters utility player, not just an infielder, but utility player, Keith Grieshaber. Keith, thank you for joining me. First and foremost, you are a St. Louis native, born and raised, and I think it's only fair to start off with how happy are you that not only the Cardinals have won their fair share of World Series, but the St. Louis Blues, for the first time in their history, have taken home Lord Stanley's Cup?
Yeah, the Stanley Cup coming to St. Louis was very big for the city especially, and the people that I'm close to and a lot of people I'm close to that are, they're close to. And so we've been waiting a little bit. Since I grew up, the Blues have always been pretty good. In the past, 5-6 years, they've made some runs and thought we would maybe get a good chance, but we never really did. And then this year, it was kind of crazy, and we celebrated in fashion. And I wish I was home for it, but I wasn't. But it was a really cool time, and it was a proud moment, to claim that we had it, so it was cool.
Well, I was there in Busch Stadium, believe it or not, for Game 7 for the watch party. When we went to Gateway, I believe in June, rain happened to cancel the game and make a doubleheader the next day. But that rain delay or the canceled game allowed everyone to go to Ballpark Village and watch the Blues defeat the Sharks in Game 6 to go to the Cup. And as much as you've wanted to be either at the parade or in St. Louis for Game 7, I think that moment must also stick out to you.
Yeah, I think the way you talk about it and the way that the things worked out, it kind of gives chills down my little body, and just kind of remembering the people and the places that were around during that time in Ballpark Village was a really, really fun place to be, to experience with some guys that maybe have not been to St. Louis or not even know much about the Blues or hockey or or anything in that sort of sense. So it was a fun place to bring people and to kind of show them what it's about to be be a part of St. Louis. So it was cool for the team. It was cool for a lot of people, and I enjoyed it.
I think the other important thing is that the Cardinals are 0-2 against the Red Sox in the World Series. The last time the Blues were in the Cup was against the Bruins, and that's when Bobby Orr had his famous goal in Game 7 of the 73 Stanley Cup run, when he scored and leaped in the air and happened to score the game-winning goal against the Blues. So I feel like it was, in a way, poetic justice of not only the Blues against the Bruins, but St. Louis against Boston.
Yes, I think there's something, I don't know. Boston's a big, they're big winners. So their sports teams have won a lot, so it does make sense that they're there more often. But there's very something to say about the little Boston and St. Louis kind of championships that go along, but not hockey. A lot of baseball, and the hockey was kind of just, these past two things of, you're like, wow, this is something, So it was definitely not by mistake, I'd say so. So I think I think the Boston and St. Louis thing, if it can keep going, that'd be really cool. So.
And lastly, as a competitor, I mean, either as a competitor, as a fan, or as an athlete, would you rather win the championship game at home, or would you rather win it on the road and in a way silence that opposing crowd?
It depends how the series is going. I think, you know, if it's a tough-ish series, I don't mind where I win it. But if we're gonna take care of business in 4, I'd much rather win at home, just to kind of show fans and show that that's business more. Saying then you get into Game 7s and compete and grind, and then there's a lot more to it. There's not a lot of bad words involved, and so I think the more the series goes, I don't mind it. I think playing on the road's fun, but the home crowd, you love home crowds, you know. And so home crowd is, I'd probably go with the home crowd.
Alrighty. So growing up in the St. Louis area, do you have any siblings?
Yes, I have an older brother. He's 28, and his name is Kyle.
Okay. So were you and your brother growing up in the backyard, were always fighting, competing at whatever it is, as long as it involved the ball?
Yeah, my mom was thankful that she had children that played outdoor sports. We did get out of the house and, you know, did get into a little trouble, but with the balls, you know, and involving sports, and he took me under my wing, or his wing, since I could remember. I mean, competing with him and his friends, say, you know, as a 3-year-old against, you know, 7-year-olds, like in street hockey or something. And just growing up my whole life, he let me play with his friends, and which I think made me, you know, a little more spit in my play and how I competed with everything. But I was very blessed to have an older brother that cared for me and gave me some right words and actions to keep moving on in life.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, I'm the oldest. I have a younger brother as well. We didn't fight as much, but it got to the point where he's now 4 years younger than me, but has beaten me in one-on-one basketball, has a better jump shot than I do. And as of now, he is currently more fit than I am right now. So
that's tough to handle. You know, my brother is he loves when I do well, but I also know that he doesn't, if that makes sense. But I know that he does. And I will always say to this day that he can hit a baseball way better than I can, because I've seen it, you know, and people may not say that, but I believe it. And he definitely ruffled me around growing up, and I ruffled him, you know, so.
Of course, but it's all in the good spirit of, in a way, trying to better yourself, whether it's competition on or off the field. And I think there's something about developing that special bond with a sibling that is kind of undescribable.
Yeah, I was blessed to be in a family of 4, so it was a closer knit. So it was just me and my older brother, and it was put on me to have a good relationship with my brother, because when my parents die, that's all I'm gonna have, and that's the closest thing that can be to me. So I was pressed to have a good relationship with my brother, but not forced. And I think we're going through different stages of life, and we're finding each other here and there, and picking each other up now, and we have a great relationship, and I love him. So.
Were you the type of kid growing up, did you play every sport until you kind of fixated on a few to focus on? Because I've talked to a handful of the guys, and growing up as a youth, they played basketball, football, soccer, baseball, hockey, whatever it is. So what sports were you always playing growing up?
So the first really memory of sports was soccer and t-ball with baseball at a young age, and those were probably the 2 sports that I definitely played my whole life. But in between there, I played roller hockey for a couple years. Learned, and that was at a young age, so kind of experiencing that. Didn't play ice hockey. Played basketball from 1st grade to 8th grade. I wish I would have played high school basketball. I didn't have the chance to. Those were the main sports that I played. I wanted to play football. My dad kind of guided me in a different direction when I was younger. I wanted to play, and I begged him to play football. I was a young kid, and and I played soccer. I was a pretty good soccer player, and he said, you got to go play with the tough boys if you want to go play football. And I was too young and scared, and I stuck with soccer. And that was my chance to play football, so I never did. And I had a really blessed and great soccer career, I think. So that was just God for me. So.
I think you're speaking very humble about yourself and your soccer career. We'll get to that in a little bit. But with your athletic build, I think you could have been at least a slot receiver, do you think?
So I wish I would have gotten a chance to just run around and just kind of played out. I definitely could see myself playing some receiver. I don't mind physical contact, I don't mind being hit. I don't know if I like hitting people as much as maybe getting hit, who knows? But I've always wanted to play some defense, and, who knows if I could play quarterback or not. But I think I could play a little bit of wide receiver.
Now, what was it about soccer that you loved? Because me personally, I don't like it. I don't like to run around as much. But it takes not only endurance, and I feel that it's a lot of more mental than physical, especially patience. So what was it about soccer that you loved?
Yeah, so, man, growing up with soccer, I was on a very, very good system and people that really knew soccer. St. Louis, has a very, very tight niche of soccer. We got an MLS team, just got it, I think. It's coming out. But there's some very good soccer players around that area. And I was raised in an area to excel, and they showed me the right pass, and I kind of became obsessed with it because you could run, and in that natural euphoric feeling of running it just made you keep playing and playing and playing and playing, and if you were fit enough you can keep playing, and then at the age 10 to 13, 14, I was kind of good, but I didn't realize maybe I was good. Maybe that's why I kept liking it, just because maybe I was more naturally good and kept playing, and I enjoyed it. Middle school was fun. I was picked when I was in 8th grade to join the U15 national team, and kind of dibbled and dabbled with soccer and baseball in high school, and then baseball kind of just panned out.
Now, what was it about what gravitated you towards baseball? Because you clearly excelled in soccer. I'll read you some quotes. You were a pure striker. You have the ability to finish. Your ability to finish around the borders is mythical.
That's what they say.
Yeah. Let's see. Those are the ones that stood out. Oh, blessed with speed, toughness, and the ability to finish.
I'll definitely say the ability to finish. For some reason, I don't know what it is. For some reason, I didn't even know where the goal was. I didn't know where the goalie was, and I could almost close my eyes and score. And it was really weird. And I didn't know why that would happen, but some people just have it and some don't. And I was blessed with that ability, and it was really fun, and to be able to score, I took a lot of pride in it because it changes games, that's how you win. In soccer, you win 1-0, you're a hero. If you have a bad game, you could just squeak one in, with your pinky toe, and, you're the hero for the week. And so being a goal scorer was super fun, and I don't know how it happened. I don't know if it was the work I did. I'm not sure, but I love scoring goals. I think everyone should experience scoring, a big-time goal. It's a really cool feeling.
And I think your high school coach said you just had the natural ability to score.
It was. If that was the best way to say it, in my humble sense of saying it, that's all I could say, because I didn't really know anything else. I guess I was just athletic, and physical, and bigger than some kids in high school, but some reason I could score. I could go up for a head ball tomorrow on a corner kick and somehow score. It was just really weird, and I think I'll always have that ability. So it's just something I kind of, I take pride in because it was a cool feeling.
Now, you seemed like soccer may have been the right path for you because you were going to the national team at age 15. You scored 22 goals your freshman year, 24 your sophomore year, ended up scoring 40 your senior year. And in your school's history, you scored 114 goals, which is 9th in the state of Missouri's history. And not only that, you were the Gatorade Missouri Soccer Player of the Year your senior year, and you were in the same conversation of winning the overall Gatorade National Soccer Player of the Year with the likes of Abby Wambach, Derek Jeter, Candace Parker, and believe it or not, Mark Sanchez. So, I guess, how can you explain your soccer career?
If I could sum it up, I could say it was to help me spread the light of my abilities and to show the natural abilities that God was given to me, and I played hard. If I could sum it up, man, it was a lot of fun, and I knew it wasn't for me, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
But I think without it, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Okay, I think that's fair to say. Also, to pad your stats, 7 hat tricks. You scored 2 goals 8 times. Not only the Missouri Gatorade Player of the Year, but the Post-Dispatch Player of the Year. Unfortunately, in the state championship game your senior year, unfortunately you were shut down. Is there anything, if you look back, that you could change to not only yourself, but give your team a chance to win? Because the game came down to penalty kicks, and unfortunately your high school, Marquette High School, did not come out on top.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I don't want to say that I was guarded heavily, but I was guarded a little heavier. But that wasn't, not a first time. But they're a good squad, Christian Brothers they're a good high school program to play soccer in Missouri. I mean, they're very good. There was one chance, maybe I got 2 that day. I'm trying to think. I know I had a good head ball look, and if I maybe remember, I maybe had a good look. And that was the only thing I could have done better. I definitely remember the head ball that I could have put in, but it was a tough one. If there was one thing I could have done, I don't know. I would have fully looked at one of my teammates and said, "You can score. It's like you can do this." I wasn't sure if anyone wanted to take that role, and it was because it's a tough game. But I don't know if they had confidence in themselves. Maybe they were looking at me too much. If I could have fully, put the belief into my teammates that they can do it, I think maybe it would have been different.
Now, I think what made you the kind of soccer athlete you were was not your athletic ability to score, but it was the bleach blonde hair.
Yeah, that's a funny story. That was my senior year. I was going into it knowing that I'm done with soccer after this year. I signed to go play baseball in college. So me and one of my best friends, he was also my co-striker, we said, why not? Let's just bleach our hair. We kind of joked around about it in the summer, and then we had gym class together, and I was like, yo, we're going to do this or what? And so we did it. It was a long time ago. It was like 2013, so kind of before anyone else was kind of doing crazy things. And it was a really fun year. We had a lot of fun with each other, and playing with each other, and we did great things with each other on the ball and off the ball. It was when you came to play us, they knew that they had 2 guys that were coming at them.
Now, when I was in middle school, and maybe it stopped in high school, but was the foot fairy busting chops with other colleagues of yours or friends of yours or classmates of yours, was that thrown around to you and your buddies, and did it stop whenever you guys could show that you could back it up?
Every day, more so, and still to this day. It's not the biggest respected sport in the United States, and that's okay. But yeah, every day. But the good thing, I'm not going to disrespect my high school, but when I was there, we weren't the best at football. So football wasn't the biggest sport, but now I think they're pretty good. They've done some good things and turned that program around. But when in high school, it was it was nicer, I guess, because the soccer program got a little bit more love than the football program, which was kind of fun because we were pretty good. We're really good. And a lot of my good friends played on the soccer team, which was cool.
Now, Marquette High School, was that a Catholic school? Was it a Catholic public, just a Catholic school, or was it a private school?
It's a straight public high school. It's in Chesterfield, Missouri. Probably 2,500 kids, class 5, but no private. No, my parents did not want to send me private, and I loved going to a public high school. I thought it was great. But some places that you grow up aren't the best for public high schools, so I do understand going private. But I was blessed to have a great high school and a good high school experience.
Okay. Now, I guess to go all the way back to my original question, what was it about baseball? Because we talked about your excellent soccer career, but what was it about baseball?
I battled with it a lot, but when I was growing up, I wasn't sure what I wanted. I knew that I was more naturally gifted in the game of soccer, just because I saw it. I didn't know that I could be really good at baseball. Not saying that I am. More say I still have roof to go. But soccer, there was just something I couldn't do for the rest of my life. Baseball is in my blood. My dad is a big baseball player. My grandpa is a baseball player. My brother was a baseball player. He played pro baseball. So it was in my blood more than maybe I wanted it to be. But I think the way that things worked out and the family that I have and the way that I feel like God leads me, it put me in the game of baseball. And I wouldn't go back and change it. I wouldn't change the sport. I've had opportunities, go back again to play soccer, but I'm thankful that I'm in the game of baseball because I can do it every day for the rest of my life. I don't know about soccer.
Okay. And a last nugget about soccer. So after your senior year, you got invited to all these different awards, and I heard you went to possibly like a training or a showcase in Philadelphia. That's near my hometown.
I did. That was the first time I've been to Philly. So of course this was in December of the following. After my senior season, I was selected to be an All-American, which was really cool, I thought. So you got a select few group of good soccer players around the country meeting in Philly in December of the weekend of the Army-Navy game.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
So that was cool. So that was just just a thing. That's a thing. And that year it snowed more than I could fathom, and so we had to play this game. Even in 6 inches of snow. But it was really, really fun. It was super cool. But Philly was a really cool place. First, I couldn't tell you which Philly cheesesteak place I went to. I saw, the steps and everything and all. And so it was a really cool place.
Was it the cheesesteak place where there's two right across the street from each other?
Maybe. I think one was on a V corner.
Yes.
Mason. Yes.
Yes. So there's one with orange and there's one with red. Do you remember which
I
color?
want to say orange.
Okay, so orange is Gino's.
I bet it was Gino's.
Yeah. So did you know how to order a cheesesteak correctly?
The only thing I was told was to say something with whiz. That was all I was told. I don't know if I said it right too, because I don't know if I got the whiz or not. So I don't even know. So I haven't gotten a second one. Okay. So I'm still kind of hanging on to the Philly steak right now.
So it's whiz wit.
Whiz wit.
Okay.
Whiz wit.
So whiz wit means a cheesesteak with cheese whiz with fried onions. Without means without fried onions.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I wish I knew how to order. I guess there was a lot of, we were with some people, and, my mom was there too. I don't think she ever had it. So I didn't know if we really knew what we were doing. So I'm thankful that you told me that tip.
No worries. So I think baseball turned out to be all right for you, because not only were you a good soccer player, but according to Perfect Game, you were nationally the 186th best player at your senior year of high school. You were the 28th best shortstop in the entire country. In the state of Missouri, you were the 4th best overall player and the 2nd best shortstop in the entire state of Missouri your senior year. So I guess baseball seemed all right.
That's not bad. I didn't know those numbers like that. Baseball. I guess I think soccer maybe confused me with maybe how good I could be at baseball. Because I was very standoutish in soccer, but I wasn't that standoutish in baseball. I just kind of did things right, kind of kept doing things right. I played the game hard. I tried, not the biggest power hitter, but those in high school, I learned that I was, I could do good things, but I wasn't even fully convinced that I could play in the big leagues or, even be a professional baseball player, and that didn't happen until I even got to junior college. So kind of different.
Now, you went to commit to the University of Arkansas. You play there, but you did just mention that you went to junior college to finish out your collegiate career. From talking to you before, it was something about being a student athlete and the academic side of things that was a little more difficult to handle?
Yeah, for me, and it could be for a lot of kids, that maybe really invested in a sport. It's tough going into college and knowing that schoolwork has got to be done, and there's no questions around it. Going to class is no question, but those are the good things. If you can do it and be disciplined, it'll create good habits in your life. So I do understand the full commitment and process of being, a student athlete. But I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for the commitment. I guess I was committed for baseball. I wasn't committed to the academics too much, especially when it kind of started swallowing me up. I wasn't sure what to do. I was kind of younger, and kind of tables turned, and didn't get the best looking grades my first semester of college, but that's all right. I went to a junior college. I went to Jefferson College. It's in Hillsboro, Missouri. Not the biggest town, but they're known for baseball. Mark Burley went to our junior college, if that's a big name to anybody.
Okay.
But yeah, the student athlete part's a tough thing. So if you really want to do it, you got to do it, and you got to know that it's tough work.
And did it feel good? I mean, it's cool to go to a Division I school, especially like Arkansas, who's known in the SEC as trying to become a powerhouse in baseball. But was it okay to not only have the second chance, but in a way you were closer to home at the same time?
Yeah, it was man, that's the things that you feel like you can't control, and somehow, but if you have the right positive faith, and if you let these things, happen in a negative way and keep affecting you in a negative way, it's just going to keep getting at you. But somehow, some way, that period of time, I don't know, God had me, and I wasn't sure even how I landed at Jefferson College. Just kind of happened. Like, man, I moved in 3 days into the start of the spring semester. I had no idea what I was going to do, but that led me to better places.
So in 2016, you were drafted by the Los Angeles Angels organization in the 16th round. Can you take me to draft day?
Draft day was pretty cool. Draft day was probably one of the better days of my life. That year, I told myself my redshirt year while I was in junior college, I said I'm here. I'm gonna get drafted out of here. I told myself, and I've worked for it, and I wasn't sure and fully convinced that I could do it. But I just kept telling myself, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Drafted by the Angels. I wish I would have. I wasn't sure where I'd go, even if I did get picked. I was hoping, just to be able to get picked, because I told myself, this is something that, and I told myself, if it's the right thing, I'm gonna do it. And it was the third day of the draft. The draft's going really quick. Names are getting called every 15 seconds at that point. In talks with, my advisor, my agent, and this and that, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen. And I told him I'd sign. You know, I'm like, I'll sign because I want to sign. I want to play. And they picked me in the 16th round. My dad and my mom are listening to it. I mean, big cries, you know, big joy, and just because my parents put in a lot of work growing up, so I could see just the pure happiness of my family, which was really cool. One of the better days of my life for sure. So.
Now, you spent 2 seasons in the Angels organization between rookie ball with the Orem Owls, the high A ball with the Inland Empire 66ers, and the Burlington Bees. In your minor league career, you had 298 with 150 hits, 37 swiped bags, 35 doubles, 37 RBIs, and an on-base percentage of .367. First off, where does your speed come from?
Oh, man. So, okay, I'm not the fastest from home to first, all right? So if you come out, you're going to watch me play. I don't know why, you know? But when I start running for something, there's just this feeling I can get. I don't know what it is. When I'm running, you know, for some balls in the outfield, I can feel something different than when I'm just running. So I don't know what that is. I know my mom ran a little bit of track in high school. My dad played a lot of soccer growing up. I think he was pretty athletic. I don't want to give him too much credit. But my brother's pretty quick, man, for how strong and stocked he is. I don't know where the little speed comes from. I got a little longer legs in the family. But when I get moving, I can get moving. But I don't know where it comes from.
Okay. The other part was you spent 2 seasons, and in 2017 you were ranked as the 43rd best prospect in the Angels organization. Unfortunately, you may have been mixed with the wrong crowd, been open to things that you didn't know that were access to you, and you're a young kid at the same time. You probably have a good amount of money. I'm not going to say how much you had, but let's just say the amount of money you got from the Angels could put a dent in my student loan debt. So I guess things didn't work out with the Angels, whether it's different substances or different messing with the wrong crowd, things like that. I guess take me through, your reaction of what was going on, and I'm sure you could have some things that you could have done differently.
Absolutely. The time in my life, it definitely, it just didn't happen, over one night. Mistakes like that don't happen over one night. It was, time of being in certain places and, saying yes to things that I shouldn't have said yes to. Too often than not. And I couldn't pull it back in. I couldn't, pull myself back in. I couldn't control, my feelings or my emotions. And I was young. I wasn't sure how to handle things, of course. But I thought I did, of course, and I wanted to make my own mistakes. But my own mistakes were hurting other people, which was tough. And the way that life kind of turned in that moment, there's things that you don't know why they happen. Because there's feelings and things that I don't know why they happen, right? And all these emotions that get mixed involved, and having money as a 21-year-old kid, fighting a little bit with your parents, being a little rebellious. I always have been, but not in the craziest ways. Just I want to do my way, my way. I was too worried about myself. I didn't put enough. I wasn't not too worried about myself. I wasn't putting anybody else's feelings in front of mine. But things happen for a reason. I wasn't happy, but I'm happy now, and I've learned a lot about myself, my family. God be with them, because they're rocks for that and what they went through. Just the embarrassment and everything that goes along with it. So, but it's a weird thing, and I can't run from it. I am who I am. You can talk to me about it if you want. But the surface isn't what people might know about me. So there's more to say, and I'm thankful that it did happen because I'm going to be better from it.
No, this is more of a reaction. I read some stuff online. People put nasty stuff online, and my first reaction to those people who made those comments is, I mean, screw those people. Here's just one comment that stood out that was, well, embarrassing, and I'm surprised people had the courage to just say something like this. They said that you found Josh Hamilton's stash before he left the Angels to go to Texas.
I think, that's... when I think of that, I don't like to be compared to anything, and I'm not going to compare to anything, and I'll let people talk, of course.
But the thing is, those people who made those comments, they're not you. No. They don't know you. No. And why do they have the nerve? This is kind of an open-ended, but why would they have the nerve to make a comment about, at the time, a 21, 22-year-old kid, 23-year-old kid, and try to ridicule him? We get that everyone makes mistakes, but it's more of some nerve for people to do something like that.
Yeah, I think that's just the way of the world. There's good and there's bad, and I think there's more good people than bad people. The bad stands out more because you're kind of shocked by it, and that is some shocking. You hear things and you're like, come on. I don't know why people say that. It doesn't affect me because I've had too many things happen for that to even affect me. But also, I don't think anyone should be doing that and responding to especially to younger athletes like that. That are, they're putting a lot to sacrifice and do things. So I don't know where it came from, and I don't think it's going to happen again.
So you find an opportunity in the Frontier League. You're originally with the River City Rascals. As a shortstop, you're an infielder trying to make a spot, the second chance opportunity that a lot of athletes talk about. I guess take me through the spring training process, because you ended up in Evansville the second to last day of spring training.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what I was going to be doing even this year. I was working at a car wash and taking school and doing some classes that I need to finish up. I still got 2 years of school. March came around, April, kind of March came around. I was talking to some people, some older people, some old friends, and, kind of just picking brains and seeing, like, hey, if you had a chance, would you go do it? I was even thinking about going back to school and playing soccer. So that was always in the back of my mind. And one of my old Jefferson College coach, Pat Evers, gave me the name to the Rascals coach because I think they played together. They gave me a chance. Didn't work out. They gave me 9 days. And I was not fresh at all. I haven't played. So I didn't play last year. I wasn't sure, if I was going to play baseball again. So I kind of started picking up the baseball, throwing again in March, and, getting really excited. And, I guess I was content going to River City and, just doing this again and, being in the backseat, but, I was like, okay, well, I know it's going to take time, all this. And then all of a sudden, they cut me. And I was, it shocked me. It kind of rattled me. And it's like, man, am I going to play baseball again, Like, here we are again, And I was blessed, and Sunday morning at 10 o'clock, Andy called me and asked me if I still wanted to play, and I said no question, and just kind of telling him what happened. And so he just said, give me a call later that night, and so thankful that I did, and this is way better than River City. So I'm very thankful to be with these group of people and this organization. It's a cool place.
And I think what has helped your success, these are stats that I've already told you, but you're one of the best hitters in the league in the month of May. You converted from filling in for Dave at second base and filling in at shortstop here and there to you continue to hit the cover of the ball, and now you found a home in the outfield and you love it. And what also has helped you was your 19-game consecutive hit streak, as well as your 29-game consecutive on-base streak. So not only just the whole thing about the Otters and being on the diamond, but how have you embraced the city of Evansville playing at Bossy Field, just being in the around of the environment, and not only that, you can tell as well as everyone else that the fans care.
Yeah, they do. And the ones that come all the time, they do care, and you want to play for them, when they come out here. And this league, I'm not the biggest fan of turf fields. So when I come home and play at Bossy, I'm so happy to play on dirt field, and be on grass. And I think every ball player that comes in here kind of feels the same way when they're even from the other teams. So the city of Evansville it's been nice to me. It's been perfect. It's been quiet. It's calmed my heart. It's not the craziest place, of course, but that's not what I need. And I'm here to play baseball, and they've given me a chance to play baseball, and the people that support us, they support me, and I'm going to do what I can to give back.
Now we'll get to the lighter part of the questions, non-sports questions at all. But you are a big fan of soccer, as we noted throughout the entire interview. You're a big New York Red Bulls fan, but that might switch to when St. Louis gets their professional soccer team. Are the Red Bulls on the top of your sports fanhood hierarchy?
So right now, they definitely are. So my best friend throughout my whole life, Tom Barlow, if you're hearing it, grew up with this man, played basketball with him, played soccer with him, everything, baseball. Went to different high schools. We could have gone to the same high school. Went to a private high school. This boy kept playing soccer. He had some tough adversities in his life and his family. His dad passed away at a young age, and that family, what he did, and how he performs, and the way he works is very. It makes me proud, and I know it makes that family so proud. And so, my boy got picked up by the New York Red Bulls. I think he was the first pick of the second round. I want to say 30th overall. And he made his debut this past year. He scored a goal. It was incredible, and I'm following it all the time. And I know he's not getting the most minutes, but I know he should. So I do love the New York Red Bulls right now.
Okay. So after the Red Bulls, what's next? Is it Cardinals or Blues?
I enjoy the Blues games more. I think Blues games are so fun. Cardinals games are sick, you know what you're getting. But, I don't think Bush might be as rowdy as Wrigley. You know what I'm saying? So, but get inside there and watch the Blues play. It's really fun. I like going to Blues games.
Okay. Any football fanhoods, or are you a general football fan?
I like watching football. I think the athletes in the NFL are unbelievable. I don't think the NFL is great, but I love watching Sunday football. I'm not the biggest college football fan. But not my favorite team. Don't have a favorite team. The St. Louis Rams weren't the bestest during my kind of age growing up. They did win, but I was super young. They left, and I maybe saw one football game. So I'm not the biggest football fan, but I appreciate what they do.
Okay.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of movies on the bus. If you have a top 5 or so of your favorite movies.
So I didn't see... What was it? Lincoln Lawyer the other day came on. I didn't see it, and I always thought it was really cool. I thought it was a really good movie. What was the football high school movie? What was that? Do you remember?
Varsity Blues?
Varsity Blues. I've never seen that. Always heard about it, I guess. Watched that on the bus. It was like 2 weeks ago. I thought that was awesome. Super funny movie. Let's see what else I enjoyed.
Now, this is just your favorite movies in general.
In general, I think so on the bus. Okay. In general, all right. There's always one. I think The Great Gatsby is always really cool. Okay. I love love, Love is a cool thing to this world. I think love's awesome, and that movie really portrays it kind of cool in the way that, the animations are and the characters, and it's cool. Another one is Sandlot. I can watch Sandlot any day. Let's see. I'm trying to think of a good one that I saw really. I know it's a little different. White Boy Rick.
Okay.
For young people, don't watch it. But That was a really, really cool movie. I'm not, I like movies that can kind of happen in real life. Not The Great Gatsby's different, but not too much of a action guy or the comics and all this. But some movies that can get you, I'm like, I love them, so it's cool.
What about Godfather, Goodfellas, any of the mob movies that are timeless classics?
Yeah, so I didn't watch them growing up. I wasn't into all of it or anything, and I think when I was like 22, I was in Utah, I was in Orem, and I think I watched, which the one with, is it Goodfellas? That, I'm trying to think which one.
Yeah, with Joe Pesci and De Niro?
Yes. And then an older one I try to remember, but a little older, I couldn't remember which one. But those are like the only two mob movies I've seen. I'm not the biggest, mobster, but...
All right, Shawshank Redemption?
Oh, oh my God, we watched it on the bus, and I didn't watch that before. I've never seen it. I know. But I plan to watch it because I watched a little bit on the bus, but I wasn't fully into it.
Okay. All right, so you need to get around to more movies then.
I do. I pick and choose the movies that I like, I guess. When I see something I want to watch, I go watch it. But I'm not a big watcher of anything.
Okay, so you're not even a big TV show watcher?
Not a big TV show guy. I like if live sports are on, that's what I'll watch.
Okay.
Like if anything, I'm not a Netflix person.
Okay.
I don't like watching things. I'm not a big social media person. I don't know. Sometimes I get lost in my own thoughts. More lost in a screen. So.
Okay. All right. So no Breaking Bad, no Sopranos, no Mad Men, nada. Not even Game of Thrones.
Oh man, I bought an HBO subscription a couple years ago just to try to watch Game of Thrones, and it didn't work. And I watched like a couple episodes, and I was like, can't do it. But in junior college, I had some pretty good roommates, and they loved it. So I would always, I'd chime in and watch and sit down on some. But I could never, I can't sit there for like 25 minutes and watch something. But there's some shows that I followed Breaking Bad, but I didn't like watch all of it. But I followed it while he was kind of, going through it. So I know the shows, and I keep up with the culture of it because it's the cool way to, that's how people talk, and it's cool things today. So.
Okay. All right, switching food. Whether it is places or specific meals, you can intertwine either one, but some of your favorite meals or favorite places to eat.
Woo, okay. My favorite tasting food would be like really good sushi.
Really?
Yes. I know we in Missouri and St. Louis, we probably don't have the best sushi, but some places are really good. I think that taste, there's some taste about it, man. I love it. I don't get it all the time, but I think that's the tastiest food for me. I'm a big sweet tooth, man. I can crush some candy and chocolate, which is a problem, but it's not, I guess.
No, not at all.
No. I grew up kind of, eating sweets, and I love it, and I kind of learned to tone it down. I love macaroni and cheese with jalapenos.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, big spicy food guy. I kind of come in and out of the taste, but when I like spicy food, I really like it. So hot sauce on a lot of things. Barbecue food is probably like, my favorite food. Like, let's have a cookout in the backyard and with some, chicken wings and, potato salads and, good stuff like that. And it's probably my favorite food would probably just be like, you're full, like, not, you're full on, pulled pork barbecue, but like your barbecue food.
Okay. All right. As far as places to go, one of the hot spots for everyone on the team is Chipotle.
I do love Chipotle. Of course, I've had my stints of spending way too much money at Chipotle, and I don't eat it as much anymore. But definitely, I think because I overate it. Chipotle is very, very good, and then it's very good for the body.
McGuff always had Panda Express before a start and after a start. So is Panda Express on there too?
I wish Panda was more popular just because there's not many locations, so I don't think about it. But Panda's delicious, very salty. Can't do it too much. I have to drink a lot of water when I get Panda, but I don't think there's any meal that I'm craving before a game.
Okay. You said earlier that your favorite player is Derek Jeter. Playing shortstop, I feel like that's a common answer. I guess what is it about Jeter, and then maybe some of your other favorite players that you try to idolize as well?
There's something about, Jeter, the way he played, that inside-out swing, can't teach it. The way he moved on the field was different. It wasn't the cleanest. It wasn't the sexiest. It wasn't, it wasn't like, it was different. He was a different kind of cat, and the way he played, the things he did, wearing Jordan on the baseball field is the first time, and the way he played was, he respected the game, man. He smiled, he laughed, he played hard, he didn't seem really, if he got tossed, I couldn't even tell if he got tossed, you know what I'm saying? He didn't lose it on umpires, kind of. I think Jeter's a class act, and the players right now in the game are special. They're electric, and the game's changing to be, super athletic, just the way any other sport is right now, but baseball especially. You see Mookie Betts and, John Carlo and, some big guys and some small guys, Altuve, but they got that electricity in them, and now, baseball it kind of wasn't like that, but the game's changing now. Just simply the way people train and how they want to be. So you're seeing a lot of changes in this game simply on this. There's just a current of these. They're electric, man. So it's a different ball game, but there's some good ballers out there. Vegeta will always be my favorite.
Okay. Now, it's only fair that if growing up a Cardinals fan, I feel like Albert Pujols is the obvious answer. I think David Eckstein might be an underrated kind of guy, especially because of his height, but he hustled. And he's so many of your favorite Cardinals besides Pujols.
Absolutely. So I had a good friend I remember growing up. I'll always remember David Eckstein. Just always will. Don't know why. Always will. I had a good friend growing up. He loved David Eckstein. David Eckstein would sprint on and off that field every day. Didn't matter what day it was. Didn't matter if he struck out, whatever it was, flying on and off the field. Molina is, he's special. Growing up, just like watching games and seeing him behind, just seeing him all the time. You watch other baseball games and it doesn't look as good, because you're like, wow, that dude, who is that man, And so it's cool to see Molina play. Jim Edmonds, I remember Jim Edmonds hitting the ball. I don't know. I have no idea. I was young. He hit a big home run. I don't know, NLCS or something. I don't know, 2004 maybe. But I remember calling my dad. I think he was like at dinner or something. I'm like, Dad, you see this? Like, do you see this? Edmonds was there. That's about it, though, for the Cardinals that stick out for me.
All right. Now, being a Phillies fan, 2011 hurts. Going into Game 5 of the NLDS, did you really think the Cardinals were going to win? Knowing that it was Roy Halladay against Chris Carpenter.
Was that the year he threw perfect games, too? Did he throw one in that prior postseason?
Yes. So in 2010, his first year with the Phillies, Halladay threw a perfect game against the Marlins, and then his first postseason start against the Reds in the DS, he threw a no-hitter.
Okay, yeah.
So 2011 was Roy Halladay, Cliff Lee, Cole Hamels, Roy Oswalt.
Was Ryan Howard on the team too?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I was a little younger. I remember the Phillies. Man, Phillies were winning it, right? And I think the Phillies were the Phillies and the Giants were the Giants, if that makes sense. They were just always around, always competing for a championship in baseball. And I remember Halladay more so than anything, I guess. I was a little younger. But I guess growing up, the Cardinals always won. And so I didn't think twice about them losing. They always beat the Dodgers. They always, I couldn't tell you exactly every game and everything, but they always seem to win. So I believe it.
But Game 5 of the NLDS against the Phillies stands out most. In Philly, that game is called 1-0 because Furcal led off with the triple, and then Skip Schumacher had the RBI ground out, and that was it.
I didn't know that. Crazy. Okay. Wow. That is pretty wild. I wish I might go back and watch that game because I don't know too much about it. Let's see. I was proud of my
We were sophomores in high school.
sophomores. Yeah, I gotta watch it again then, because if I were to pay attention to that game, I would pay attention definitely to Ryan Howard, because he's a St. Louis boy.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, if you did pay attention, Ryan Howard tore his Achilles on the final at bat.
that game, oh my
Yes.
gosh, okay, that's
Yep,
crazy.
that was that game.
So that was the last of Ryan Howard in Philly, really, right?
Basically.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. So I remember a little bit more now. I do. That was a 1-0 game. That was okay. Yeah, man. I wish I might go back and watch that game just simply because. But I do remember the last out 100%. I wish I knew more.
Okay. Hobbies outside of baseball. I know a lot of guys like to golf.
I'm not the biggest golfer. I can play a little bit if you want me to. I'm not gonna slow your game down too much. I'm not gonna speed it up. Hobbies. I like going walks. I walk a lot. I think walking's good for your body. It's good for your mind. Being outside is very important to me. It gets me natural energy and helps me, have this happiness that I'm still, trying to find. And I think I love the natural air and the sun. So I like being outside.
Okay. All right. I know religion is a pretty important part of your life. Just touch on that.
Faith is big for me. I couldn't tell you. I was raised in a family that believed, but this is different. But I had friends that brought me to an unbelievable non-denominational church in like 5th grade, and I didn't stop going. I was baptized when I was 14, going into high school. And I guess I was mature enough at that point to be like, I run with this crowd, and more saved, not run with these people, but it's more of like, I believe in God, and I believe in Jesus, and the sins that I've made can be, for some reason, you have a feeling of waking up and you can feel refreshed, right? And you don't know where that comes from, but if you ask, and there's spiritual, I'm not going to get too crazy, but I think spiritual being is in everybody. So finding your inner spirits is it's very important as a human.
And lastly, I'll get you out of here with this. Do you have an inspiration, or is there a quote that you wake up to try to motivate you every day? Nicely has a Bible verse that he goes to every day, or even when he starts. Some other guys have some different quotes or sayings that they live to. What's yours?
If there's one thing that I'll tell myself, it's my mom would tell me, go get it. Just go get it. You want it, you go get it. You like it, go get it. If you want to hit that pitch, go get it. If you want to get that ball, go get it. Go get it. Anything. If that means anything, man, go get it. Go get it. Go get what you want. It might take time. Don't be discouraged because you can't control time, but go get it. It might take, longer than you want, longer than other people may want, but nobody's in control of that. So if there's one thing, I like, my mom tells me, it's, Keith, go get it. Go get it.
Well, Keith Grieshaber, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. I enjoyed the conversation. Very moving, very inspirational. I appreciate the fact that you're a humble guy and living for the moment, taking it one pitch at a time, just like a regular ball player. Keith, thank you so much.
Thanks, Dave. I had a good time talking with you, and I'm so thankful for the summer that we've had.
A big thanks to my guest, Keith Grieshaber. If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the thumbs up button at the bottom of the screen and leave a comment below. Remember to click the subscribe button to get all the latest media content with the Evansville Otters. Reminder, don't forget to follow the Otters on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Once again, thank you for listening